Things I've fully started to understand about God since becoming a toddler mom. Do your part and I'll do mine. So, when I'm getting my daughter ready, she's a very distracted child and often gets so caught up in what I am doing that she forgets what she's supposed to be doing, and she's just kind of frozen in time, standing there gazing around, or just so enamored with what I'm doing that she's just asking me questions about what I'm doing rather than doing her part. This, of course, leads to a lot of frustration in the mornings when it's time to go to school, because when I think she would have done what I asked her to do, she has not. She is usually still kind of stuck playing around or waiting for me to finish what I was going to do to come back and help her. Now, let's unpack this, right? In our parent-child relationship with God, we often do the same thing. We find ourselves so focused on what He said He's going to do and what He is doing that we're not focused on what He told us to do. When I give my daughter an instruction and I say, hey, go ahead and put your shirt on, I leave and I'm expecting her to put her shirt on. I'm not expecting to come back in the room and see her still shirtless and standing there playing with a toy, or just saying, well, Mama, I was waiting for you to come back. What were you doing? I was doing what I said I was going to do. I was filling up your water bottle. I was packing your lunch kit. I was getting your shoes organized. I was getting your bags in front so it's quicker for us to get out the door. I told you to put on your shirt, and I was expecting you to do that while I was away doing what I said I was going to do. God does this with us. He gives an instruction. He says, hey, it's a partnership. Listen to me. You're my child, but I need you, and I've created you to do X, Y, and Z. Do it. While you're doing this, I'll be working out the other details behind the scenes. Most of the time, simultaneously. He waits, but the thing about it is that He sometimes has to wait for us to do a certain part before He can do the next part. Because when she hasn't put on her shirt yet, I cannot put on her skirt or her dress or the things, her overalls, whatever you call it, that has to come on top of that. I can't start putting on her spray. I have to have her shirt on first. I have to have her shorts on first before I put on the other things. And so I need her to do that and to follow that instruction. But when I have to stop what I'm doing to come and put on her shirt because she's wasted so much time, and put on her shorts before I can then throw on the other things, we're late. Or I have to neglect one of the things that I was going to do. Now, that's not the same thing with God. He can do everything. He can do 10 things, 100, a million things at a time. But the point of the matter is, He often has to come and do our part when we don't do our part. And that is not the kind of partnership or the parent type relationship that God is trying to harbor within us, because He wants us to do our part in getting the things done that He has laid out before us. And so we have to ask ourselves, what's the real reason why we're stuck sometimes? Because it is that we're waiting on God and we're so focused on what God is doing that we're not checking if we did the last thing that God told us to do. Did you do the last thing God told you to do? Because if you haven't, why are you waiting for Him to do something? You have to start doing what He told you to do. You cannot just be waiting on Him to do all of these things and you're not doing what He asked you to do, girl. Like, you have to do what you have to do. And so we find ourselves frustrated when really it is us who is kind of just keeping this whole process back. And this is one of the things that I've learned this morning while doing my daughter, getting her ready for school. I just really realized that we're often the missing piece in everything that we're waiting on. And we have to recognize that and just put ourselves in, and we have to actually do the work, and the results will follow. Okay? God is a God. He does not lie. He's not man. And He's definitely waiting on us sometimes to continue doing things, because He wants us to be a part of the amazing things that will unfold in our lives. Otherwise, what are we really there for if He literally has to do everything? So I hope you are encouraged. Also, it really holds us back a lot, because you have to recognize that when God leaves the scene, He takes a step back, He gives an instruction, and then He takes a step back for you to actually follow through on the instruction. He literally comes back finding you in the same position you were before, or in worst case scenarios, like my daughter, actually lying down on the bed in a towel, playing with toys rather than starting to cream herself or something. And that's kind of what we do. We just be sitting on our bed, scrolling on the internet, scrolling on TikTok, playing around, playing house, being depressed, complaining, doing everything but what he told us to do, right? And then when he comes and he checks on us and he's like, okay, so where are you at now? Because I'm ready to bless you with X, Y, and Z. And we're even further from our goal. We're on the bed playing rather than actually up, getting our shirt on, doing what we're supposed to be doing. And that's on us. So you can actually change your life. You're the missing piece, and you have to just put in the missing piece and start going. You have to get the ball rolling now, and everything will work out. Before the end of the year, your life can be so much different if you just actually do what God told you to do. So whatever it is, just start doing what God told you to do. It'll work out.